And welcome to Greifenhorst, my medieval fantasy Let's Play world, where eventually I hope to make the world safe for civilization, remove the bad guys, mostly dragons and ogres and cyclopses, or whatever. But in the meanwhile, it's been primarily involving me just getting my feces coagulated. So what I want to do today is spend a bit more time closer to home. Now, in the last episode, we started what I call the central stair, which is at the bottom of the shaft that goes pretty much down to bedrock. We started creating a spiral staircase that will eventually reach all the levels of our underground section of our base. Now, that was a good start. Didn't quite finish the first flight of steps, but it did bring in a lot of deep slate. And with the deep slate, one of the things I've been thinking about this whole time is that here on the surface, I wanted to basically start terraforming and laying out the walls of the castle. And now that we have a bunch of extra deep slate, I have the tools to do that. So what I think I'd like to do today is spend some time working on the castle grounds, right? Specifically, this is area that will be part of the inner bailey. And if you don't know what a bailey is, basically the bailey is the yard of a castle, right? So when you look at a castle, typically they kind of have like a ring wall that encloses a space. That inner courtyard is a bailey. And sometimes they can have more than one bailey. Anyway, that's what we're talking about today. I have that space defined in my Excel spreadsheet, which incidentally, I have those types of documents for all my Let's Play worlds. And one of the things I want to do in the infinite amount of free time I apparently have is go ahead and make those available to you, especially because there is an overview page of each of those spreadsheets, and that's what I use to track progress, right? Because I know what I'm going to build roughly, and so I can kind of quantify that in a spreadsheet. And as I complete those bits, it kind of gives me a view as to how far I am along the path of planned progression. And in all cases, we're at 0. But we'll start moving away from that slowly but surely. But I think you'll find it interesting. For the really nerdy and geeky among you, I know you'll find it interesting and maybe insightful. Something that you can maybe take directly or bits and pieces of. And for most of you normal people, it will have you shaking your head, wondering just what in the world's going on in my brain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the outer extent of the bailey. This is, oops. Okay. I screwed this one, not the one I just laid down. So what I'm saying is what I just laid out here, this will all be part of the bailey. This is where the wall will reach. So I'm going to need to basically clear this area and a little bit besides, and then we'll basically terraform it down to the level that I have for the other bits. And some lag. And then as a result of that, right, we'll be able to grow some new crops out here in the larger field and kind of power through that. Now, along that line, we have already we're growing bamboo. Yay. And we're growing wheat, which is going to be necessary for the straw content, right? Because I want to get that rich earth and that, or rich farmland. And once I get that, we can really go to town on growing all of our crops. But I got to start with either the wheat or the flax from Supplementaries Mod, so that I can get that straw. So that's what I'm doing. And hopefully we can get that going in this session as well. But I am excited to just get things going, right? And not poke myself on these source berries. The things are heating up. So the episodes in all 3 series up to this point have been very much about getting a decent place to live and setting up a little infrastructure so that I would be able to survive in the world and reach the resources I need to actually start the main projects themselves. And of course, that gets me maybe halfway or a quarter of the way to being fully kitted out, but it's enough, right? It's enough for me to thrive and rock and roll. Actually, in Ars Nouveau, with the spell book, I think I'm a little bit ahead of the curve on that one. And of course, in more lag, in From the Rubble, I'm way behind the curve because it started so much later. Plus, that world is pretty hostile. But in all the cases, it is an exciting time to be in these games. Now, it's certainly more exciting for me to be playing them than maybe for you to watch them. But I am truly digging it. I am. As a matter of fact, there was a discussion with one of the channel members in our Discord, and we were talking about like which of the series is our favorite. And like I pointed out there, I said, if I'm away from the computer and I'm not, we're just like chatting. If you ask me what's my favorite series, it's probably either From the Rubble or New Londinium. But the truth is, if I'm playing a game, whatever game I'm playing at the moment, that's my favorite. That is my favorite. And so, and what that really means too, I mean, besides the fact that I enjoy all of them, is that the difference between my favorite and my non-favorites is really small. I mean, really small. Like micro small, like nano small. So, it's all fun. And something else that I like to talk about is there's been some interesting developments, let's say. So first of all, if you've been watching my videos from way back, even my very first video, I talk about my wife's general lack of support, and in fact sometimes open hostility toward my gaming hobby. She just doesn't understand it. Now, this channel's been going on for 2 years, and that was certainly true 2 years ago, but there has been a fundamental shift over the past 2 years. And it's only, I guess, in the past few months that I actually noticed it, right? But I mean, we had quite a slap in the face recently when my wife told me that when I'm recording, I should put a sign up on the door so that they won't walk in on me. Before, they wouldn't have cared. And now she's actively asking me how videos are doing, or did I get new subscribers? I mean, she's taken an interest in this. And at first, I was baffled. Now I'm still baffled, but I'm pleased, right? So there's a level of support that has been missing up to this point. And I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm going to take the ball and run with it. So there is, in fact, a nice new sign on the door saying, hey, back off, I'm recording. And, and being me, geeky me, I've always had spreadsheets and stuff talking about, channel growth and all that jazz, just because, that's what I do. That's part of my dysfunction, I guess. But it was nice to share it with her, and she had some interesting questions, and I feel good about this, right? I feel like I have support. So that is certainly uncharted territory for me. But it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. And along those lines, one of the things that I posted at recently in the posts tab. Previously, it was community tab, I think is what it was. Anyway, the thing I posted there was, there's been some new games coming out that are interesting to me, right? And there has been some conversation, usually some comments from viewers like yourself, that have got me thinking about some other stuff too. So, while I'm digging, let's talk about some of those. So one of the first ones I want to talk about is a game called Cubic Odyssey. Now, I made a channel post. Oh, more lag. When you have weeds floating in the air like that, it's lag. Latency. Oh, there it goes. I made a channel post about this. The game is available on Steam, and recently Steam had an event where they wanted to highlight indie developers, and so they were putting the playable demos of these games front and center on the Steam homepage. And of course, if you have any of them on your follow list or your wish list, yep, okay, they were listed right at the top. And so this game called Cubic Odyssey was there. Now, Cubic Odyssey, if you didn't read the post, is interesting because, I mean, you watch it and it's very Minecraft-esque, right? You've got a voxel cube world, but I think I have the strawberry seeds already. But in this video, the guy jumps onto like a type of like grav vehicle, and later he gets in a spaceship and he goes into space and goes into hyperspace. That's not Minecraft, folks. And it doesn't look like, like a modded Minecraft either, but it's definitely got Minecraft roots in it. And I told people it looks like the love child between No Man's Sky and Minecraft. Well, it turns out that that's pretty close to their tagline, right? So it's very similar to No Man's Sky in that you're dealing with a universe of hundreds of planets that are each individually unique, right? I think they're procedurally generated. And these planets are big, right? Plenty of room for exploration and building and such. And all that sounds very No Man's Sky-ish. But it has a block model and a building model that's taken straight out of Minecraft, right? So there was a playable demo, and I played the playable demo, and I streamed about 3 hours of me playing the playable demo in 2 separate sessions, which was also a learning experience on trying to handle live streaming. So in the first one, I made plenty of commentary, you just didn't hear it. And in the second one, we got the commentary working, but the chat that was going on wasn't available on screen. No, we got work through that too. But anyway, it's a good game. It's I like it. I plan on buying it when it comes out. But the point is, the demo is the demo. And since they plan to release it sometime this year, which includes up to and including December 31st, my guess is that by the state of the demo, it will probably be very close to the end of the year, right? That thing's not ready to go release yet. But the basic concepts are there, very interesting. It's free, playable demo's free, so I suggest you take a look and go check that out. Another game that I stumbled upon is, one of the channels I follow is Mischief of Mice, and Valen runs that channel, and he does a lot of great tutorials. In fact, he's the guy who helped inspire me with my mod deep dive series in the first place. And if I can't use my tutorials to learn because I got to make them first and I got to know it first. So I used a lot of his tutorials to originally learn about the technology mods that I like. So good stuff. But he also does some Let's Plays, and he recently opened one up on another game that got me curious, and I posted about that too. And that is Vintage Story. Now, when I was watching his videos, I could have swore that what he was playing was modded Minecraft. And that's not an accident, right? Vintage Story originally started back in the day as an add-on for Minecraft. And the developers had made a decision that based on changes in vanilla Minecraft that didn't mesh with what they wanted to do, they could just get off the Minecraft train. So they took some time to basically come up with a complete from scratch game engine and then build their game out from there. And not only that, but they built it. These are guys with a modding background, so they came at it with attitude and emphasis to really actively encourage and support modding. So you have a brand new game. When I say brand new, it's been in early access type development for 7 years. But you have a relatively new game that is very Minecraft-esque, but is not Minecraft, and it has a surprisingly large collection of actively supported mods. So some comments about that though. Their game model, it's a I call it hardcore, but it's very similar to the idea of terra firma-craft, which is we will take vanilla Minecraft and we will make it much more realistic. So you're not going to find iron in your first day in game and be able to smelt that to make an iron anything. Basically, you start off with nothing, and you're going to pick rocks up off the ground, and you're going to start napping those rocks, which means to knock little flakes off to make Stone Age type tools. And from there, you'll work your way to the Copper Age, where you'll find bits of surface copper, and then you'll find clay, and you'll make molds from the clay. You'll make a crucible from the clay, then you'll make charcoal so that you can get a fire hot enough to smelt the copper in the crucible, and then pour it into specially made molds to get the tools you want that'll finally let you tap into rock. And I got the game. And at the moment I'm playing on the exploration preset, which takes a lot of the harder elements of the game and abstracts them away. And so it's a survival game, but some of the effects like hunger and food preservation and stuff are slightly nerfed. And I gotta tell you, in that game mode, this is the most relaxed, cozy game I've played in a long time. Even more than Stardew Valley, right? I'm just... my blood pressure drops like a stone playing these games. And that's good, because normally my blood pressure is pretty high. But it's really, really fun. Now, I think it's time to amp it up a notch, because the next level up basically doesn't sugarcoat anything, right? Everything is working, everything's active. But see, then there's this element that they've added that I'm not particularly thrilled about. I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. But basically, it adds a horror element to the game, which is probably going to shoot the whole cozy factor right in the foot. But These basically temporal anomalies, temporal rifts, which tells you that it should be something that's time-based, but I don't know if that's the case. But these temporal rifts happen, and if you go into one, it's kind of like almost their version of Nether. It's a nightmare world full of nasty stuff that will do nasty things to you. And even being by these rifts, these things will come through that gate and, basically ruin your day. So I haven't done that level yet, but I'm thinking I might give it a shot. And all of that is because what I'm seriously considering is maybe a Let's Play in that world. Now, I'm telling you right now, as much as I love playing in exploration mode, that probably wouldn't make a great Let's Play, because the chance of any type of excitement or storytelling elements is pretty minimal. So that would be, I mean, maybe. I don't think I have enough hardcore, cozy Minecraft builder types on the channel to make a go of it. But if you are, in fact, super cozy, builder type, and this sounds interesting to you, then let me know, because maybe I'll need to rethink my approach. Maybe that would make a good Let's Play for this crowd. Oops. But at the moment, I'm thinking maybe to give it some play testing in the standard mode, and maybe that might make a good Let's Play. I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. So I'm not promising anything. Meanwhile, I don't remember who it was exactly, but there was a conversation in a comments on maybe a video. I think it might have been. Actually, I think it was on the post for Cubic Odyssey. But somebody said, "Hey, you should check out Elite Dangerous." Now, that was an interesting suggestion, because Elite Dangerous is something I've looked at off and on for the past few years. I have a good friend of mine who plays it with his boys, who are now, in their mid to late 20s. But, he also had recommended it. And so for the first time, I took a solid look at it. Now, something to remember is that in computer game time frames, I'm about as old as the pyramids, right? So when we're talking about Elite, this is Elite Dangerous is yet the latest, though itself is very old. I think it's over a decade old, but it's the latest installment in the Elite franchise. And I started with that franchise, Elite, way back in the 90s, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Now, at that time, I was playing Elite on my Amiga, and the graphics were, well, actually I started with Elite on my Commodore 64, and the graphics were wireframe there. And then on my Amiga, I believe, we actually got solid polygons. But in both cases, there's a little story here that they caught my heart, right? And it's this. The prologue to this is in 1968. They created a movie called 2001: A Space Odyssey, and that movie was based on a book of the same name. And but in the movie, the book was talking about space in a very realistic way, and in the movie they depicted space and space travel in a realistic way, especially based on the technology of the time. And toward the beginning of the movie, they have a whole space station sequence. And when they come to the space station, there's a whole docking sequence. And of course, because it's based on like real life physics and stuff, it's kind of a slow approach. Then they adjust, and the space station is in this rotation, and so they kind of match it. And it's kind of like a ballet of bodies in space. And to kind of add to that, I guess a waltz is a better depiction, because what they do is during that whole sequence, as the ship is rotating in line with the space station and going in, they played the Blue Danube by Richard Strauss. Or is it Johann Strauss? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of Strausses, and they all did pretty much the same thing, so it's one of them. But anyway, the point is, it's a beautiful, iconic sequence in cinema history. So let's get back to Elite. In Elite, when you approach space stations, it looks and feels very much like that. Even in Elite 1, which had a very simplified space station and look. And so in Elite 1, when you approached the space station and you started doing the docking, they played the Blue Danube. And it didn't make or break the game for me, but it certainly helped endear the game to me. And I love that aspect, right? I like the dock often because it was just cool, right? They got it. I got it. It was a cool Easter egg. So fast forward to this. Somebody said that I should play Elite Dangerous. And I said, oh, I've been thinking about it. So I went out to Steam and took another look at it because it had been 2 or 3 years. And I'm sitting on the fence. I'm really on the fence on this. Maybe I should get it. Maybe I shouldn't get it. But then, the thing that killed No Man's Sky for me was they have base building, but it's nerfed, right? And it's nerfed in a way that nerfed in a way that I just couldn't work around. It's like, nah, I can't. So I walked away from the game. So then my concern was, well, do they have base building in Elite Dangerous? And they didn't. So then I was on the fence, but that pushed me just to the other side of the fence. Now, I mean, there's some karma or fate or something involved in this, because like 2 or 3 days later, as I'm going through my YouTube feed, I had recently added, I basically I'd been watching some Elite Dangerous videos, so now they're in my feed, they're popping up, and there's a guy announcing the Trailblazers update where you're gonna have base building and stuff. I was like, oh no, really? So then I go and I look it up, and I mean, that thing released just then. So I'm like, wow, what an incredible coincidence. So now I fell just on this side of the fence. Now I'm like, okay, I'll get it. But it's for Elite Dangerous and the Odyssey update, it's $24.99. That's not a lot of money, but I'm working on a shoestring budget here. So yeah, if they have a sale or something, I will grab it. Well, guess what? Like, it's almost like the in the Laverne and Shirley, where they'd say, oh my god, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. And then Lenny and Squeaky would come to the door going, hello. That's what happened here. I made up my decision. Well, if they have it on a sale, well, we'll see. Hello. Steam pops up and says, hey, you can get them both for $9.99. Okay, well, take my money. So I got that. And I started playing the game. I'm going through the tutorials. Let me tell you, that game's complex. That game, even the tutorials are complex. Not just playing them, but just trying to figure out which tutorial to play, because it puts you in some that teach you things like running around on a planet, but then there's other tutorials that look like are either older or later that also teach you to run around a planet. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, at one point, going through the tutorials, and you're flying the ship, and part of the ship tutorial is you gotta fly into a space station and dock. Now, normally when I play games, I'll listen to their music for a while, and like with Satisfactory, right? I'm cool with their music, so I just leave it on. Most of the time, I wind up turning it off, and then I'll play my own music, like in iTunes. Well, I did that real soon with Elite Dangerous, because the music was just too loud. I couldn't hear what was going on elsewhere. And I mean, you could move the sliders around and stuff, but I wasn't super thrilled with the music anyway, so I said, whatever. Anyway, so I'm going through the tutorial, and we're getting to the part where it's time to dock and land. And as I'm lining up and, you know, fixing the rotation of my ship, I'm having this huge bout of deja vu, because this is the way it was in Elite 1. And I mean, it's the graphics are better and the ship is nicer and certainly much more maneuverable. But in the end, I am having Elite deja vu. And just out of curiosity, I was like, well, I wonder. So I turned the music on, and sure enough, it's playing the Blue Danube as I'm lining up to go in. And, you know, it was an awesome moment. It's like I come home, right? And, of course, the game is still crazy complex, and I'm still learning how to run around and throw grenades someplace other than at my own feet. So there is a steep learning curve, but that's okay. I'm not in a huge rush. I will get there someday. So, and in a similar vein as Cubic Odyssey or Vintage Story, there might be a video game series there. Now, that's not quite in line with this channel, because this is really about world building. And there is now building in that game, but, you know, for a guy still running through the tutorial, base building is, excuse the pun, light years away. So I don't know if that one would be a good fit for this channel, but, you know, I don't know. You tell me what you think. I think Cubic Odyssey would be a good ad when it comes out, if it comes out, and Vintage Story, definitely. But, you know, you guys let me know what you think. Now, all of that comes to mind because I recently made an announcement that after about 10 months, I'm going to retire my Behind the Velvet Curtain series. Now, that was... the idea was to build a chill, relaxing audio experiment, right? Basically, it's a soundtrack with Minecraft visuals thrown in. And those visuals would come from... I realize now that this is where the wall's going to be, so I need to take the dirt back out, right? Because I'm going to need to put the wall pieces here. I enjoyed it. In fact, there are frequent times when I'm at work and I can't play. You know, they have firewall blocking on streaming services, but for whatever reason, they don't block YouTube, which means I can listen to my own videos and get that chill vibe while at work. So I do sometimes. And apparently, there are some people watching this video. I'm looking at the numbers. And over time, they slowly go up. So I suspect that people are doing the same thing I was doing, which is, you know, they're studying or working. They put this video on the background and they just relax to it. So there is an audience for it. But in my case, we're talking single digits, right? And it's not hard work. It's just that it takes some time, especially because I got to line up usually about 3 hours worth of music, put it in, the, you know, sound balancing, all that jazz, which I've gotten better at over time. Practice makes perfect. But in the end, I'm thinking I could probably better use that time that to appeal, you know, to generate something that might appeal to a wider audience. So that's why I'm deprecating it, and that's why, in fact, I'm talking about these other games, because if I'm going to do that, now I'm thinking about, well, what would I do instead? And again, you know, you guys have ideas. You, share them with the rest of the class, right? I look forward to hearing them. No, I mean, no promises. It's not a vote. It's not a democracy, and it's got to be something I enjoy. But that still leaves a great deal of rain. A great deal of range. Oh, thunder. Well, I'll just sleep in this stone ditch. Like sleeping in a grave. Nice. Anyway, that's what I was thinking about all that. So as always, let me know what you think. And I'm going to start encouraging that more often. I don't think I say it enough, right? Now that people have been interacting more and more, that, you know, the idea is I have a channel and videos that appeal to you guys, right? And, you know, YouTube gives me all sorts of tools to try to figure out if that's working for you or not. But it's still an inexact science. I mean, unless, of course, I have a video that gets 1 million views. That's pretty clear cut. But for the most part, the numbers, especially at my level, are subtle, right? So when you guys speak up in the comment section, that speaks volumes, right? If somebody feels compelled enough to stop for a moment and physically type out a comment, you know, that means the world to me, especially if it's a positive comment. Ironically, you know, doing this and being a small YouTuber, you know, you're tapped into the channels for small YouTubers, and you hear stuff that happens on other people's channels, and negative comments seem to be kind of like part of the territory for a lot of folks. I screwed up here. Put the light back. A lot of people get some pretty negative comments. Now, I will say, and hopefully I'm not jinxing myself here, but I'll say out of the entire 2 years I've been doing this, I've only had 2 negative comments. Now, one, I call it negatives simply because the tone that was used. The guy had valid feedback, right? He says, you know, the way you set up your thumbnails, it's all full of text. I can't see what the picture is, and so I don't know what the video's about. And it's like, oh, well, actually, I think that was incredibly valid feedback. And I suspect that the reason he said it in the tone he did, which was actually a little more brusque than what I told you, I don't think he was a native English speaker, so he probably didn't realize. He was probably, you know, basically using his best English, but it come across as kind of in your face. But that's okay, because, like I said, feedback was 100% valid. I found value in it, so I don't mind negative feedback that is constructive, right? If you want to just make fun of my mom or something, well, you know, that's not cool. But the other negative piece of feedback I had is a puzzling one, because 3, 4, hole. This is where I'm going to put in water. And so same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, hole. So, oops, missed it. There we go. It was a piece of feedback on one of my deep dive videos. Now, if you haven't seen my deep dive videos, you know, I encourage you to go take a look. The whole point of the deep dive videos is in the name. Taking a deep dive. So, you know, I think the shortest deep dive video is something like 20 or 30 minutes, right? And some of them are well into the 40-minute mark, maybe close to an hour. So the whole point of the deep dive is to go deep. Ooh, I missed. So I think I need to grow potatoes because I need a very reliable source of food. And of course, potatoes are the classic go-to for lots of calories and minimal time and effort until you get more situated. So we'll go plant potatoes out there. Anyway, and the whole point of those videos is to really take a mod that I find interesting and that I'm pretty sure most people would find interesting, and not to make it a real tutorial per se, but to really and it's not just a straight showcase, it's kind of a blend of all of these things, where the idea is that you could watch the deep dive video. If it's something, if this is a mod you use, you might learn of something that you didn't know about. And if you're thinking of using the mod, well, this is kind of like almost a hands-on way to show you what's available, and hopefully it will help you make the right decision, right? So that's a lot of detail. And the guy's complaint was that there's too much detail and that all he wanted was, like 13 seconds in the middle of this video, just how to do this one thing. That was his negative feedback. And it's like, okay, but that's kind of like writing a letter to the state saying, hey, I used the freeway and, there is a lot of cars going fast on the freeway. It was, you need to kind of slow those cars down on the freeway. I mean, some of them were going like 50 miles an hour. It's like, yep, that's what the freeway is for. Right? If you want to ride your moped on the freeway, then you're going to get run over. I mean, just stay off the freeway. Anyway, so I would say that by reading these posts about other people's experiences, that I've apparently been incredibly lucky. And that makes me happy. Happy to no end. It also points out that, when we talk about the internet and internet communities, there are people talk about trolls. And yeah, there are some trolls here. But for whatever reason, they don't seem to be hanging out on this channel. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Lag again. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, I kind of do know why. There's no point in trolling a nobody. And in terms of numbers, this channel is very much the Tatooine of the YouTube universe, right? It's the outer edge of the outer rim, or the outer edge of the outer edge of the outer rim. So, yeah, trolling me. I mean, people won't even see that you're trolling me, except that, the handful of people who hang out around here. So, that being said, we have a good crew here. I think I put the lights down in the wrong spot here. So let's see. I think the light's supposed to go here, not here. Excuse me. Because that's certainly how this works in this field. And then that means 1, 2, 3, 4. That lines up to the water. Then 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, I just put the lights in the wrong spot. Both lights, in fact. So, anyway, so I'm thankful for the crew we have, right? I'm glad that this isn't a super big channel, because I think the type of people who stop in and stick around to continue supporting each other and communicating and just having a good time, I think we get some really great people that way. And, I gotta say that it has really helped reinforce and bolster what I do, right? It makes what I do more enjoyable, because everybody likes... Yeah, I'm going to grow a tree here. I don't need to irrigate the field. And in fact, I can take the tree and put it right there. So starting a YouTube channel from scratch, especially in a space like Minecraft or gaming in general, and kind of going at it with the idea that, or starting with the idea that I'm doing this for fun. So I'm going to do it my way, and people can take it or leave it. Now, that shouldn't drag you down, because you've already made a conscious decision that that's how it works. But if you, at some point, you decide that you want to take it a step further, well then, the way you approach it in the first place kind of makes it harder to do that. Not impossible, just more complex, just a little harder. But it can wear down on you, right? Kind of like a job search. If you're looking for a job and you're unemployed for months trying to find a job, truth is nothing's really changed except maybe your bank account's smaller. But the thing is it still wears down on you, right? It gets you questioning yourself. Is it them? Is it me? Am I doing something wrong? And so having an active community of people who are speaking up and giving you encouragement and support, I cannot undersell how important that is, right? It just actually I can't overstate how important that is. It's critical, right? And if it wasn't for people being so positive in their encouragement and their comments and participation, this channel wouldn't have made it to the 2-year mark. So thank you. I mean, thank you. And I guess I don't normally say this, but this is a time that if you like the video, right? It's one of the best ways to support a creator. Like the video. An even better way to support them is like the video and comment. And subscriptions, that's right up there too. Now, subscriptions are less important once they pass 1,000, but subscriptions are incredibly important up to 1,000. And we are stuck in the 800s, so the low 800s. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I would love to hit 1,000. Because there's a lot of stuff I'd like to do at that point, and I can at that point. At that point, Facebook opens up. YouTube opens up a lot of doors, a lot of options, and we can really have some fun with that. But that's not going to happen overnight. So in the meanwhile, we'll just keep doing what we've been doing. It's working for me. I know it's working for some of you. Hopefully it's working for more and more of you. And we'll keep growing. Anyway. So I've got 64 of the bone meal, and I'm going to have 64 of this bark. And we'll see how much straw I can collect. Anytime now. Lag. Lag. Latency, actually. But there shouldn't be any latency since I'm not working on a server. I mean, we're talking about from one side of the processor to the other. So there we go. So I've got 21 straw. So the best I can do is 10 of this rich earth, right? There we go. The other stuff I can put away till next time. I'm gonna put this organic soil making stuff in this chest by the bed because it's by the barrel where I keep my bone meal. So everything's kind of together. And let's go plop this stuff down. Meanwhile, we've got a cascading archwood tree planted now down in the semi-permanent growth zone. So I don't need this one right up here on the front door. I do love these trees. I think the tree design is pretty cool. And I love the colors, right? I've always liked colorful themes and motifs. So, when there's a biome that Ars Nouveau adds that it's, I don't remember the name of it, but it's like mystical forest or something, but it's full of archwood trees of all the different colors. And I think it's pretty cool looking, but when, when, like, if you come over a hill and you see the rooftop of all these trees stretching out before you in this colorful forest, what it reminds me of is it reminds me of looking down into a bowl of Trix cereal, right? With all the different rainbow colors. And I dig that. I'm not, I used to like Trix when I was a kid, but I like Fruit Loops better. I don't really like either of them much now. And I'm not entirely sure whether it's because they've changed the formulation or my body has changed its formulation. And so things just taste different. I mean, that's one of the problems as you grow older. You're going to go through these preference changes. And it's hard to tell sometimes if it's because I've changed or the product's changed or what, right? And products do change all the time. I mean, you might not know this, but at one point, Coca-Cola actually came up with a new formula for the product. Called it New Coke. Now, at the time, I didn't mind New Coke so much. I definitely didn't prefer it, but I didn't mind it. But most of the people at the time didn't like it. I mean, there was people who did like it, but most people didn't like it. And so there was a huge campaign. And New Coke was soon joined by Coke Classic. And so for a long time, you had New Coke and Coke Classic. And then as Coke Classic sales went up and New Coke sales went down, they basically stopped making New Coke and then just renamed Coke Classic back to Coke. And so now we're back to the same formula they've used for close to 100 years, with the exception that it has high glucose corn syrup instead of sugar. Now, here in the United States, they don't make Coke with pure cane sugar. They do make Pepsi with pure cane sugar. But if you want a Coke with pure cane sugar, then you can get one in North America, any place where they sell these Mexican imports. And because they in Mexico, they make Coca-Cola with pure cane sugar. And I got to tell you, I like it. I like it a lot. But because it's from Mexico, and that means they have to import it, and it's in small quantities, it's, well, I wouldn't say radically more expensive, but it is definitely more expensive. And in this day and age when everything's more expensive, yeah, if one's available and I didn't pay, then you betcha I'm going for that. But if I gotta pay for it, then I probably won't go for that option. I do enjoy my soda, partly because the caffeine, and partly for the flavor. Now, what's ironic, this is probably too much information, but let me get my train of thought back here. When I was a kid, my mom drank soda all the time. She didn't drink coffee, didn't drink tea, didn't drink beer or alcohol. She just drank soda, specifically cola. That was her drink of choice. And all those years that she drank soda, I didn't pick it up. And then in my teen years and stuff, in the military, I'd occasionally drink a soda, but I didn't pick it up. When I started at Microsoft as a permanent full-time employee, they had free soda. That's where I got bit, right? Because, I mean, it was free. It was just there. If you wanted something cold to drink, just go get a free soda. And that's where the addiction happened. So I've been a pretty steady soda drinker ever since. And now that I'm getting older, yeah, I can't keep drinking soda on that scale. And I'd cut back. I mean, at my worst, I would drink actually on my very, very worst, I'd drink 5 or 6 sodas a day. And then, but that was just like 2 and 3 week runs. For the most part, I would drink 2 to 3 sodas a day. But at this age, that's a lot of soda. And then I cut back. I eventually cut back down to like one every 3 or 4 days, which for me was pretty remarkable. But the thing is I would have liked to cut it back more, but it was just so hard because there's, I drink a lot of water, but sometimes you just want something other than water. And, I went with the seltzer water, different flavors. But now seltzer water in some cases is almost as expensive as soda. And you just get bored of that, right? Sometimes you want actual flavor. For a while now, I've recently been drinking this Zevia stuff. It uses stevia extract. Now, the reason I stayed away from sugar-free or diet sodas in the past is most of them use aspartame or some other chemical, right? Some type of man-made chemical. And while stevia is technically a chemical, it's a natural chemical. And, Indians in South America have been ingesting this stuff for generations. So it's not as good as sugar, in my opinion, but I think it's a lot better than the purely chemical, synthetic sweeteners. And there may be, the fact you're not drinking sugar helps. So there's some aspects to it that make it work for me. I still drink occasionally sugared soda. I had one today, in fact, to celebrate because I went to the doctor and everything was great. So, I still treat myself, but, and even then, the Zevia stuff, I might drink one a day. One every 2 days. Just don't drink as much soda. And I think in the end, that's good. I'm not a... If you're a smoker, yeah, I think you should cut that out entirely. If you're a drinker, I think you should cut it out if you have a drinking problem. I don't drink either, so it doesn't really matter. But, but there's some stuff you should probably kind of keep available to you as a treat or something. The whole trick is to develop, to de-evolve the habit and make it a bit more disciplined. Because I know that if in my mind something is forbidden, then it instantly becomes desirable, right? I just have that inner rebel in me. So you tell me don't do that, and now I have this overwhelming desire to go do that. So, but if you tell me, yeah, you can do it, well, that whole forbidden fruit mechanic is gone, and that works. So, So as you may have seen, like in the From the Rubble video, that weird music coming from the walls means that there is a mob, hostile mob, that is wearing a backpack from Sophisticated Backpacks. And this particular backpack they're wearing has the jukebox upgrade and a disc inserted, so they're a walking Music Man, a one-man band, or one zombie band, or one skeleton band. Anyway, I've got a backpack, thank you very much, very happy with it, so I don't feel compelled to go after this guy. Though, keep getting music in this side of the room and nowhere else is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. And the dead zone moves as the mob moves, which I find interesting. So now we've pretty much completed one complete level of the central stairs. So we have the floor at the bottom level, and now we have built the floor to this level, right? And then we'll build the gateway to the level itself. Now, I'm going to move all this stuff up top. Well, up above this level. Don't want to keep running up and down the stairs all the time. My inventory full? And lag? Yep, there we go. Yep, it is. So I'll come back for it. So if when I release the plans for the central staircase, and note that I'm now putting a furnace here so that we can smelt stuff up here without having to run all the way to the top and back. So on the very bottom level is usually reserved for my metro lines. In this case, these will be some type of magical conveyances that technically they will be create trains, but using the phantom rails from the Steams and Rails mod, they're going to look like something else, and I don't know what yet. I really don't know what. I'm actually leaning toward making like underwater canals, so kind of setting these up like canal boats, magical canal boats, but I don't know. Anyway, that's usually what happens on the bottom level. And then this level, this is what I would call the concourse level. So the level below would be what I call the metro, right? Like in Russia or France, the subway is called the metro. There you go. That's the metro. And this would be the concourse level, which is essentially, for a metro, that's where... Man, that music's loud. He's like right next to me. The concourse level, of course, is where you go and you buy your tickets, and you know they have the snack machines and stuff. You know, that's just where people hang out or make connections, right? Because some trains usually can't be in the same space, or different lines can't be in the same space. So you usually got to come up out of like one platform to go to the concourse to reach another set of platforms for trains headed in different directions. So that's what this concourse is. And the reason I say all of that, the reason I went through all of that, is because in my designs where I set these up, it's at the concourse that I set up my portals. So obviously there's the nether portal, and that's where I'll set it up. Now, this game, this world, also has the Aether set up. So I eventually will set up the Aether portal in the same place. Not anytime soon, though, right? You need glowstone to make an Aether portal, and I don't know if you noticed, there's not big batches of glowstone here in the overworld. However, there are big batches, usually inconveniently placed in the nether. So there will be a nether portal. That's something that is going to happen imminently. And when the nether portal set up, we'll be in the nether, where I'll have access to glowstone. Though I don't plan on heading to the Aether anytime soon, because that's designed to be end game content, and I'm still very much in the early game. So anyhow, that's just stuff to look forward to, or plan ahead. Latency with capital L. In latency again? Or is my inventory full? Inventory's full is my guess. If I can't bring it up, then that's also latency. Yeah. So I gotta put stuff away. But I don't know why it's so bad today. I can't open my backpack. There we go. Let's put some stuff away to make room. Yeah, I'm not going to go much longer. I think... I'm glad that we kind of got that floor finished here. But we're now reaching, a point where I'll have more options. I think... there we go. I think I would like to... Huh. I didn't realize I didn't bring any coal with me. So what we can do, I won't need these ladders. Let's get some coal going. Charcoal. And then we can start working on stuff. Anyway, we're at a point, we're kind of at a crossroads, right? And it's not like a crossroads where you have to choose a road and stay on it. We're just from this. The lag really causes some wackiness with the spells. The reason I say crossroads is now I have multiple things I can work on at any given time. So there's the central shaft. I can continue working on the central shaft, and that is useful. But like I said, I've got to this level now. So at some point in the near future, I could basically build my nether portal, and that would open up another set of options, right? Because I would set up a base in the nether that kind of duplicates and mirrors a lot of what I do here. I do that because the nether is an inherently hostile place, and the tough part for me is establishing a foothold. Once I get that foothold, then I start fortifying the same way, that I am here. And then the nether is a lot easier to take, right? I can take it on my terms at my pace. So there's that, right? Plus the other option is we got the surface now that we are working on to, level out and terraform in preparation of building a castle. And, that kind of dovetails with this because I plan to build a castle with deepslate, and look at all this deepslate I'm getting. And then there's the general world exploration. I mean, we did a lot of that up front, but, and for the foreseeable future, that will be an also ran type option, right? But, yeah, there's some, so that should get things going much better. But, so there's choices. There's lots of choices, and I'm excited about that because, first of all, I think you generally agree it's always nice to have choices. You hate being railroaded on something, especially something like this, right? If I can only do one thing in the game, and I'm stuck doing it for quite a while, it's going to get old quick. So having different options helps keep the game fresh. I can rotate to whatever I'm in the mood for. And it all needs to get done anyway, so there's that. And the bottom line is, I'm in this to have fun. I mean, I hope we all are, right? I mean, we do stuff every day to earn the money, to pay the bills, eat the food, have a house. But in the end, the stuff that we do outside of that, it's gotta. I'm in a gravel zone. We need to spend our free time in a way that is going to make us happy. Now, whether that's spending time with your kids, or it's playing Minecraft, or watching Minecraft videos, it doesn't really matter. They all work. For some people, some might be more important than others. That's cool. I mean, hanging out with my kids is of paramount importance. I get it. But if you're doing something for fun and it's not fun, then you're doing it wrong. So anyway. Did I just not fire? Is that? Oh, there we go. It fired. Fired late. Just in case more gravel falls. Yeah, you never dig straight down, you never dig straight up. There are exceptions, but the general rule is you don't do that. And gravel is one of the reasons. Oops. Now, I will tell you this. You know, having multiple Let's Plays that, you know, I mean, the mod mixes I use for my Let's Play series are all based off a same common core. So there's a lot of overlap. But that just means the handful of mods that differ between them, right? The handful of mods that differ between them are interesting because that, you know, just those few mods are what gives the world its unique character. And Ars Nouveau is the backbone of what makes this world unique. And I like it a lot. I really like it a lot because, you know, there's like magic mods and they say, here's a spell system. Okay, I get that. That's cool. But that's all it is. It's just a spell system, right? It doesn't do anything about enchanting. It doesn't do anything about structures or automation or storage. Then there's, you know, like magic mods that are all about the enchanting, just totally change enchanting, but it doesn't have spells and it doesn't have any of the other stuff. And you see where I'm headed with this, right? Is there are actually quite a few technology mods that go out of the way to bring you like all sorts changes to all sorts of aspects of the system. It's kind of like a full service mod. But in the magic space, I think there's fewer. I mean, certainly Ars Nouveau. I mean, you know, Iron Spell Books doesn't give you all those same different features. I mean, it really does a number on spells, though, hence the name. But you know, so that's why I like Ars Nouveau, right? It offers a lot of pieces that you can take or leave. You don't have to use them all, but I like taking them because it's kind of like the whole it's like the old Microsoft marketing thing, right? It's like better together. Well, that's kind of what happens with the Ars Nouveau, is all the pieces together are designed to work together, and I think they've done a great job doing that, right? There's value in that. I like that. So if you're an Ars Nouveau guy or gal or them, you know, and you're involved with the development of that mod, pat yourself on the back from me. Thank you. I think you guys do great work. Really enjoying it. A lot of fun. I still feel a little OP'd sometimes, but then again, I knew that going into this, right? So as soon as I face a dragon or two from the Ice and Fire mod, I am probably going to feel like I'm a little UP'd and not OP'd. But, you know, hopefully we're still a little ways from that. Hopefully. So now let's go ahead and use the blocks I brought up to basically set them. This would be the inner Bailey wall, right? Now, the reason I say inner Bailey wall is a lot of people, when they build Minecraft castles, even myself sometimes, you know, we need a wall and we're going to make it 1 block thick, right? And well, and for Minecraft purposes, that certainly works. But if you've ever gone to a real castle, they didn't have walls that are 1 meter thick. That wouldn't have worked. That wall would have crumbled within hours or even minutes during a real siege. Walls are like 4 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet thick, right? And we won't go into a whole class on castle building or construction, but those walls were designed to take a pounding, which is one of the reasons. Which is one of the reasons they're so thick. So in this case, if I'm going to build a castle and I want it to look like a real castle, a castle that you might see in real life or have historical significance, then the walls will reflect that. And so the walls won't be 1 block thick. They'll be at least 3 blocks thick, if not more, like 4 or 5 blocks thick. And, you know, building a wall that thick adds all sorts of great possibilities because, you know, walls weren't just walls. The top of walls were walkways, avenues, catwalks. Well, they call them parapets. But, you know, there are avenues for the defenders within the castle. And that brings all sorts of cool design possibilities and stuff. And so I'm looking forward to that. But that means that this wall that I laid out here, that is just the inner face, or it will be the inner face of the Bailey wall. The Bailey will actually have a wall that extends out, like I said, at least 4 or 5 blocks. And then, you know, then we can make all sorts of interesting gatehouses and stuff that connect to it. And I'm really looking forward to that too, right? Like I said, whatever game I'm playing at the time, that's my favorite. So, yeah, last time I left too many in here. But, yeah, this has been fun. I want to thank you for joining me on this little expedition, letting me ramble while I work. I really want to make a specific shout out for my channel members. You guys are awesome. And keep up the interesting conversations in the Discord. Just a note to everyone else: the Discord had been had an open invite, but you may have noticed, or if you went looking for the invite, it's gone. That's because if you're already in the Discord, by all means, you're welcome to stay. But from now on, new members in the Discord will need to be channel members, and if you become a channel member, then you will be able to connect your YouTube account to my Discord server and join us over there, right, where we can talk. Now, that came about because YouTube was spinning up a new feature called communities for channels, and it's not turned on my channel, but it is turned on some of the channels I subscribe to. And I kind of found it underwhelming. Not just underwhelming, but I actually found active problems with it. So I'm not going to go that route. If and when it becomes available to me, I prefer the more robust functionality of Discord. So, and we have a server completely set up, and it's already working. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. So until next time, I hope this finds you and yours in good spirits, good fortune, good spirits, good health, and perhaps a touch of good fortune. You don't want a lot of good fortune, because life's too easy. And if you take all the challenge out of it, you're gonna get bored. So that's why I always put a touch of good fortune there. But quite frankly, if you really, really want to be rich, and I wish you all the fortune you can get your hands on, knock yourself out. Just remember us little people that supported you back in the day. So have a great day. Take care. Cheers.